We have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it away from the fog of the
I said Tina.
controversy.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. We will, of course, retain the White House with the election. Oh, I don't support it, but it's not. Again, it's not like, you know. In other words, there's an emergency. There's a burning building. We have to put out the fire. I'm not going to have a conversation about the color of the buckets that the water is in. And of Hillary Clinton, it's about choice. If you like what you have and you want to keep it, you have the choice to do that. I believe we will gain the United States Senate. It will be close. I am a progressive Democrat in the Congress, and I'm never good enough for the far left.
Why is it so hard to get a company to execute that competently?
I don't know. And as one who works very hard.
How do you not know?
Well, it's not my responsibility.
Are you accountable for saying something that turned out not to be correct?
Well, it's not that it's not correct. Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. Why aren't we talking about something else? Well, there's a lot of hoop-de-doo and ado about what's happening now. Very appropriate.
I get your point, but your point isn't well taken, if I may be so bold as to suggest.
Aren't you getting a little old, Mitch? Shouldn't you step aside? Have you ever asked him that question?
Good evening. Good evening. I know you're there. I can hear the...
Is an unborn baby with a human heart and a human liver a human being?
Yeah. Why don't you take your ideological questions? I don't know who you are. I think I know more about this subject than you. I'm not going to have this conversation with you because you obviously have an agenda. Anybody here have a smartphone? In this smartphone, almost everything came from federal investments. But I think almost everybody I know cannot live without having a paycheck on time. Members of Congress. Let's for a moment honor it as a legitimate question. Although it's quite offensive, but you don't realize that, I guess. Excuse me. We don't have a gavel.
Certainly not Nancy Pelosi, who says the name Gruber does not ring a bell.
I don't know who he is. He didn't help write our bill. And so brings down rates. I don't know if you have seen Jonathan Gruber of MIT's analysis. Next.
Leader Pelosi.
I don't expect better from Nancy Pelosi. I mean, my God, Lord help us. She's an example of how mediocre our political system has become.
And everybody will have lower rates, more, better quality care, and better access. They don't believe in government, they don't believe in science, and they don't believe in the presidency of Barack Obama. The Affordable Care Act, it captures the spirit of our founders.
No, she doesn't know the basic facts. She's dumb as a rock and makes no effort to educate herself. And you know, I'll tell Speaker Speaker Pelosi that, good Lord. I
think dumb as a rock is about right.
Yeah, but
either dumb or ignorant, or both.
Yeah, and the Nazis were wonderful humanitarians. They ran great youth camps for blonde-haired children. I mean, come on. At some point, you've got to recognize evil when evil...
Now, I used to be on the street. You know, I was an advocate. I had the signs, 30 years, single payer, single payer, single payer. Public option I never heard of, single payer. So I do think the House of Representatives at this time is an unsafe place for children and other living things.
Was right in your...
I think so. I think so. I think so, yeah.
Face.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Affordable Care Act offers just that. Democrats stand tall in support of the Affordable Care Act.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
And so if you wanted to be a cameraman, a writer, if you want to be self-employed, if you want to be start a business, if you want to change jobs, whatever it is you want to do, you are free. You have the liberty to do. I call them legislative arsonists. Yes, we had the Recovery Act, which saved or created 3.5 million jobs. My favorite word is the word. When the Republicans vote for this bill today, they will be voting to say that women can die on the floor. Today is the 1st of May. Hooray, hooray, the 1st of May, we used to say when I was a little girl. It was either called Memorial Day or Decoration Day. That's history to you. It's my youth. I don't know if these people were all sprung from the head of Zeus Or maybe they're all Native Americans. Bless their hearts. But somebody came from someplace. Do you have any questions? I was thinking about it on Sunday when I was praying for the Republicans in church, as I do at least every Sunday. I pray for the Democrats and the Republicans, for our country. What his name is, Isa, and this is why I've said this is a game changer, that it's a whole new ball game. This is me throwing up a ball. Congratulations to sportsmanship. Just kick the can a little bit, not even down the road, but down the path a little bit. I don't know if it's conventional, but it wasn't wisdom. Wow. Take it off the table.
He's publicly
Take it off the table. It's just, don't mess with the children. The bishops talk about a baby Jesus.
What would we do if Moses had not been accepted by the Pharaoh's family? We wouldn't have the 10 Commandments.
They don't know. Is that the one where we're singing, We Shall Overcome? Well, what's to think? You mean that I was smiling and singing? Or maybe they were being pulled too tightly, I don't know. Anyway, I just loved yesterday. I just thought it was the best thing. I think that's some kind of an acronym, but I get these acronyms all mixed up. But it starts with bank on American Opportunity Text, American Student, bank on student, so that B-O-S-E-L. Does that mean anything? No. Because we are sophisticated on their constituents. President Trump, it's hard for me to say those two words in a row. President Trump has imposed the new president of the United States.
I notice you don't say President Trump.
It's hard.
Is that a thing? I mean, do you avoid that? I mean,
I've never heard him say it either.
To create jobs, the quickest way to do it is to provide more funding for food stamps. If you want to create jobs, the quickest way to do it is to provide more funding for food stamps.
He is not, Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it.
All right.
So what are you expecting tonight? You obviously are hoping for Democrats to do well everywhere, but what are you hearing? What kind of judgment, information are you getting that you trust?
Well, tonight I believe that the Democrats will come out in a stronger position. We will, of course, retain the White House with the election of Hillary Clinton. I believe we will gain the United States Senate. It will be close, but we will gain the United States Senate, and we will pick up many seats in the House of Representatives.
Why are you so
education? Now, remember this. Nothing brings more money to the Treasury than investment in education. So when the Republicans say we need to reduce the deficit and so therefore we must cut education, that is a stupid economy, because it would, again, nothing brings more money to the Treasury to reduce the deficit than the education of the American people, and recognizing that our mission is about the future. It's about the future, and that future demands that we invest in education and health, the health and well-being of the American people and our families, for our children, our children, our children. So I wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day. Perhaps as we have St. Patrick's Day lunch, we can have a moment of what? A moment of comedy, of goodwill. I didn't know until I heard from our colleague that the tweet of General Flynn today was scapegoat. Scapegoat. You know what a scapegoat is? Other people have blame that should be shared in all of this.
Except that wasn't his tweet. It was fake. A reporter at that news conference tweeting this photo of Leader Pelosi with the caption, "Aide tells Pelosi the scapegoat Flynn tweet was fake." What do you mean it was fake, she says.
Donald Trump is the here today, gone tomorrow candidate for president of the United States. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States.
While it's only a couple of weeks since the inauguration, there's complete evidence, we've seen nothing that we can work, that I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed because I thought that there might be some interest because of what he said in the campaign.
which turns out to be not true, a hoax, and really dangerous to the economic stability of America's working families.